Wages World here. It is April 19th, 2020. Come at you with a video here. And we're going to go over this double CME thing again real quick because I got something I want to show you guys. Also, we've had another small, like a flare CME kind of combo, but we're actually getting some weather from that. So I want to show that to you. And we've had a pretty big spike on the Schumann that I really want to talk about. So, and a couple other things, guys. So we'll just dive into it here. Okay, guys. This is that double CME that Scott and myself did the live stream on. I want to show you guys a few things here, okay? Like we said before, you can see how both of those cross Earth's orbit at about the exact same time. Okay, that time would be between the 19th and 20th. So sometime today into tomorrow is when this model is saying that this will be here. Okay, now, you know, the one over here is the one that may give us a glancing blow. This one over here is not going to hit us at all. It's not going to affect us, not one little bit. Okay, this one that blew off this direction does seem as though it may clip us. Okay, and so we may see a hit on our magnetosphere with this. All right, we may get some geomagnetic activity from it. Not sure yet. We gotta wait. We just don't know. Now, what I will say is that this was strange in the fact that at the time that this happened, two CMEs at the exact same time, opposite sides of the sun, and almost all of the satellites, the tools that we use here, they all glitched at roughly the same time. Guys, keep in mind that these satellites are millions of miles away from each other. So put that in perspective of what we're talking about here. Something happened. The sun did this and the satellites glitched at the same time. That's not a coincidence. It just can't be. Not all that stuff happens all at once. You know, we still don't have a whole lot of data from the 15th. These two CMEs, they popped off the sun at the end of the day on the 14th into the 15th. How is that a coincidence? And then, you know, we got Stereo A missing multiple hours on the 15th. We got SDO missing some time. SOHO. Those are three different satellites missing generally the same amount of time. So this is not something that we should ignore. Now, are we ever going to figure out exactly what happened here? Probably not. I've already told you guys in my previous video what I thought it could be. But, you know, on the grand scheme of things, is it really affecting us really bad right now? No, it's not. But this is something that we have to pay attention to because it's something that we don't see. And the fact that something came through our solar system, guys. Something did something there. I don't know exactly what it is. But I can tell you all those things happening at once is at the very least worthy of looking into. So for somebody to say that it's not, which we've heard that quite a bit, it's kind of crazy to think that. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, I'll move on from that. But I want to show you this, and then we're going to go look at this in a different angle. Okay, guys, we're over here at Secchi, okay? This is over on stereo ahead. This is the Secchi tool on stereo. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a perspective here, okay? The sun here, satellite stereo A is here. The Earth would roughly be about this angle, okay? We're looking from over here right now. All right, now, something else I want to point out here. Actually, on this view, we're kind of looking this way because the sun is basically here. If we want to get right down to it, okay? The sun itself is right there. The satellite is basically here looking this way, okay? This tool is. Now, again, you can see that there is a CME, and you can see that it's glitching. And guess what time it's missing? All right, this is the 14th. Watch what happens here. Let's slow it down so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right. It's going to get it to about 6 o'clock, and then it jumps. Boom. See that? 14 hours gone. We don't get to see none of it. And that's right when that CME happened. Okay? Both CMEs. What you can't see here is the one that blew off this way. because the camera just doesn't see it. Now, also something here real quick, I'm going to stop it right about there. Now, you see this right here? Guys, don't freak out over that. All right? I've touched on this before. Anytime a light source gets next to the edge of the camera view here, you see what looks like an explosion. And it's not an explosion. Every light source that gets that close from that angle does this on this camera. It's an inherent camera anomaly. It will happen every time. Okay, no matter what planet that is, whatever planet gets close to the edge because you're seeing reflective light, it causes it to look like an explosion. It used to fool the crap out of me. I used to think, oh my gosh, what is going on? I did some videos on it. You know, I had to come back and explain, hey, I was wrong. You know, because it most definitely is nothing to really be, you know, concerned about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this up a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. All right, now that's when that... Daggone it. Hold on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can see that that's a planet right there, right? Now, as I go forward here, see as it gets to the edge, watch what happens. Okay, it's about off the edge. Right at the time it leaves off the edge, look what happens. It starts to look like it's exploding. But it's not, guys. Okay, it's just a camera flaw. That's all that is. Okay, so please understand that. Don't let nobody tell you that it's something different than that, because that's all it is. If you guys went back and looked at this historic, you can go back and look at the archive data here. Every time a planet gets to that edge, it does this. Every time. So if that was the case, that means every planet's blowing up all the time at the edge of the screen. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's just not happening that way. It is a camera flaw. Okay, or anomaly, I guess is probably the better analogy there. So what we'll do is we'll go to the next view here. I'll keep the date the same. It kind of makes it easier here. So we'll search that out. And this is the view we get here. Again, no, that's the same one we just looked at. What the heck? Oh, that's because I left that other one checked. Okay. There we go. Now let's try that. Yep, this is a little different. All right. This gives us a pretty decent view of what's actually happening. Okay, you're going to get a good idea how much these CMEs spread out too as they get shot on out like buckshot. All right. Again, it missed the same amount, the same data, but you see what's happening here? Look at this. Okay. So you're telling me I shouldn't talk about that? All right, then you get the big glitch here again. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I mean, it is what it is. But I just think that when stuff like this happens, I mean, we got to at least talk about it. That's all. I'm not saying that it's going to be the end of the world. Matter of fact, I preach the opposite of that. I really do. If I thought this was going to be like the end of all, I can tell you this, guys, I wouldn't be here on YouTube. I'd be spending that time with my family. And don't let anybody else fool you. They would too. So, just saying. But here's the one that was kind of impressive to me. Now, this one stopped on the 15th. This one's behind. Okay? This is, I used to show Secchi a lot. But then they took the tool away from us, the site. But we were able to find it here back. Now, the Secchi site, the one we used to go to all the time, said it was going to be back in like a couple months. And it's been over a year now. That thing, we ain't getting that tool back, guys. Just letting you guys know. We got the tool. I'm sorry, I misspoke. We're not getting that website back. Okay. We got the tool right here. It's the same tool. It's just a different place of showing it. So as you can see here, you're going to see a big glitch. All right. Now, let me step that forward. See, there's the big glitch. Bam. Early on the day on the 15th. That's when all these satellites caught this. Okay. And then, that's the next capture. That's the CME. Okay. Gives us a really good view of this. And again, this is why we like using the black and white. because this most definitely gives us a good contrasting look of what we're seeing. That's why we like this one. So that is what it is. That's all the data we got on this one for this model here. See how it stops on the end of the day on the 15th? Now tomorrow we'll look at it again because it will put another day of data. This one here just stays at a typical 2 to 3 day lag. You know, I still don't know why. They can tell me all they want, but my opinion is that they want to, you know, look at this before we get to see it. But, you know, anyway, I'll just move on from that. Okay, guys, this is the stereo ahead HI2. Okay. Again, you know, I'm going to pause it there. Let's just step it right there. This right here is that what we used to call the parachute bomber. You can see kind of a little arc here, and it actually looks like a parachute with a, you know, it's just what it looked like. But we used to call it the parachute bomber because nobody could really figure out what it was. It looked like a big gigantic UFO, or now we knew it wasn't a planet because it was not moving in the way that a planet moves. Planets don't have parachutes. Okay. But this is something that, you know, we had reported on before, and Scott had asked Mystery and BB3 to take a look at it. And between the two of them, guys, they figured it out, in my opinion. What it is this is taking on the exact same shape as the end of the camera. So it's a simple camera artifact. And it makes sense because if there was a UFO that big, we're talking double the size of planets. I don't know, man. And it was showing up all at the same time and everything else. I understand that there's a lot of theories on what's going on with that, but I think this particular anomaly here is most definitely the end of a camera. But I wanted to show that to you because of that reason. This is basically the same view we were seeing, just a little bit different. The sun again is here. We did see a little bit of that CME, and then the whole thing glitched out. Just like everything else did, guys. At that same time. Everything glitched out at the same time. Okay. Now, all these tools I've been showing you here are on the same satellite right here. Okay. Now, if we go look at Stereo A, that's what this is. We go look at Soho. They're millions of miles away from each other. But yet they're still missing the same similar data. So something happened. Okay, guys, we got to talk about this. This is something that, like I said before, guys, we were seeing these 24-hour long spikes on the Schumann. This is getting to be a little bit ridiculous, just to be honest. I mean, look at that. It's just so, I mean, wow. And it's right around the same time of year, guys. Last year I caught it doing 24-hour event, like 30 days apart, to the day, like to the hour even, 3 months in a row. And this is roughly about the same time of year that this happened last year. So, you know, I'm wondering if it doesn't have something to do with our position in the solar system at this time, if something's actually causing this frequency to go crazy because of that. Just from our position. Now, you know, there's a whole lot of theories on what's going on. All I can say, guys, is frequency is very powerful from any aspect that you look at it. Okay? Whatever your belief system is, it doesn't matter. The frequency affects things. Okay? Now, I have my own theories. Everybody has their own theories. Whatever we're going to live by and do what we do in our own lives is whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this is an observation that is saying, hey, this is not normal, because it's not. And something else I have to point out, and I've been pointing this out here for the past 2 or 3 weeks, actually longer than that. Our normal is 7.83 hertz, right about there. We're starting to see in increments of 4, a more consistent uptick right there. We're seeing that stick around. Okay? And now, the past day here, guys, and right now as I'm doing this video, this is real time. Okay? So what we're looking at is right around 10. This is longer than 24 hours now. So this is something crazy. And this is intense. This is not something that's just not going to affect people. It's directly related to mental health and crime rate going up, guys. I mean, what more do you want to see? They put it into the space station. The stuff can actually cure cancer, too, if done in the right way. You know, you can take frequency, guys, and you know, you can put like beads or like water, and you vibrate it at a certain frequency. You can make any shape out of that you want. It's amazing what you can do with this stuff. It really is. It's neat stuff to look at, but it's also, we would be foolish to think that this doesn't affect our human bodies and our minds. Okay, so we have to understand that. Dr. Rife cured cancer with it back in the 20s and 30s. I mean, again, what more do you want to know? And I'm not saying for people just to completely rely on this for health and all that kind of stuff. I would never say that to anybody, because I think we need to keep an open mind on everything. Okay? So that also means that we can't ignore this. This needs to be part of the conversation. It most certainly does. My opinion. So take that for what it's worth. Now, all the other stuff that's been going on here too, guys. I mean, you know, we're seeing little streaks of whatever here. We still got our dash coded line. You know, it looks almost like Morse code. You know, it comes and goes. It does this. And there's a lot of theories on what's going on here, guys. You know. But eventually, we'll know what it is, guys. Okay? Even if it takes us to the end of our lives, at least we'll know at that time, right? That's all I got to say. So, but yeah, we'll move on here real quick. Okay, guys. This is the magnetosphere. Now, I'm going to show you a couple hits here. Okay? This is not like the ones we got the other day. Okay? Now, if you look at the time frame, it's about 1818, about 1819, right? 1900 hours into the 2000 hours. And you see where we get hit. Okay, boom. Now, it's just one pretty decent hit. This is not like what we had the other day when we were showing you this. Okay? There was a lot of chaos going on there. All right. Now, I'm going to show you another model here that is showing quite a bit of chaos, but it's in a very specific way that does show up when we get hit by solar wind or a flare or a CME. It's what we would expect to see during one of those events. Okay, so even though that looks pretty impressive or what have you, I do think that we got hit by a small flare, and I'll show it to you here in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to show you these here first before we get off of this model. But the time frame is important to know. Okay, because the flare gets here really, really quick, in like 8 minutes. A little over 8 minutes, all right? But the CME behind it takes 3 to 4, sometimes 5 days to get here. So, if we go forward here, see what that looks like? Most of us would stop right there and be like, oh my gosh, it looks like what's happening the other day. It's not. Okay, and let me explain. Now, as we go through here, you're going to see that it stays very, very symmetrical. It never ever switches direction like it was the other day. It didn't look like it was coming from the top or the bottom. It's very clear that it moved right to left. All right, and the sun's off to the right. Okay, see how it all just shot right out the back? See that? That's exactly what we'd expect to see with a solar flare or a CME or even high solar wind. Okay? And it was just one hit. All right? There wasn't anything continuing after that for hours. Still not. So, again, that would lead me to think that it's more of a flare because it gets here so fast and it leaves just as fast. Okay? So this is the solar wind model. It's going to show you the same thing right around the same time. Boom. Really quick, in and out. Bam. Gone. Right? Now the wind speed got up to like 1110 kilometers per second. Now we could convert that. It'll be in the millions of miles per hour, just so you guys know. And it didn't last very long. Again, that is most definitely just one little bam, hit and gone. So let me show you why I think it was a flare. Okay, guys, this is SDO. This is a 304 angstrom. Now, right around that same time frame, right before that, I'm going to show you a little bit of a I'm saying it was a little bit of a flare and a CME at about the same time. And that happens quite often, okay? Most of the time where there's one, there's the other. Now, it used to be thought that there was just one. They didn't have two different yeah, definitions. They didn't have two different words there for that. Okay? They separated them into two different things. You get a flare and you have a CME, a coronal mass ejection, and a solar flare. The flare part gets here in like 8 minutes. The CME part would take 3 to 5 days, usually. Okay? So, what we're going to look at, and I'm going to zoom right in here, you're going to see a little shadow just zip right across the screen. Okay? Right there it went. It's going to look kind of like smoke. Right? But what that is that flare, that CME. Boom. See that? It was not very big at all. But I'm showing it to you because it actually hit us. Believe it or not. The flare part did. Now whether the CME does, I don't know. If it does, there won't be much to talk about because, again, even this flare isn't much to talk about. But we did see it on the Magnetosphere models, and it does line up with the time. So that would lead me to believe that that most definitely is what happened there. Okay? So, I wanted to show that to you guys because, guys, I'm gonna show you everything that I can. Okay? Even the little stuff that I show you points to the sun becoming more active. That's why I show it to you, not because it's breaking news. I don't do that. I don't do that breaking news thing. Okay? You guys know that. You guys know my feelings on that. So I'm not going to even go into that conversation. But I will show, and I will continue to show, even the small CMEs. I do think that it's a valid thing to talk about, not because it's going to affect us right away or in a great way, but the fact of the matter is, it does show that the sun is still having activity, and people seem to forget that sometimes during a solar minimum. Also, if we get hit by something during a solar minimum, our magnetosphere is 25% weaker than what it was. So it's not going to take as big of a CME to affect us in a bigger way. So, I am going to end the video here, guys. I'm trying to get a different setup going with Zoom and all that kind of a thing. I kind of screwed it up tonight. I actually made this whole video on Zoom earlier and jacked it all up. So I got frustrated and went back to what I've been doing for a long time. I do my research on my computer, but I do my recording on my phone. Mike bought me that computer a long time ago, and I always did my research after he bought bought it for me. But I did my recording so I could stay mobile with my phone. Now, I try to increase the production value of what I show you guys, and I do think that my production value's gotten a lot better. I used to even record in vertical mode, believe that crap or not. Because let's face it, if you got really bad production value of what you're trying to show, most people aren't going to stop and look. Even if what you got to say is very important. Think about yourself. When you guys are, surfing through YouTube and you come across a video of something you've never heard of before, if the production value, if you can't even tell what the person looks like because it's so pixelated, if it's having audio issues and all that kind of stuff, do you really stick around and look at it? I know I don't. I keep moving. Now, that's not to say that those people don't have something very, very valid and important to share, but most people aren't going to stick around and look at that. So, it's kind of like this. When Jesus went and did his thing and saved people, what did he do? He didn't go to the church to save people. He went to the places where they weren't saved, and that's why he went there. So it's kind of what I'm doing here with this is this, I want to reach out and talk to people that don't have any idea what's going on with this. Doesn't even have first clue, because I didn't for a very long time. So, that's why the production value is important to me, because it does help other people get pulled in there to at least look at this stuff. And then they can make up their own mind. So, that's where I fall with that. And that's why I do put quite a bit of value on the production value that we do use. So, and the other thing, guys, it does have to be a little bit entertaining. Again, think of yourself. If something's not entertaining you at all, are you really going to look at it on YouTube? So that's kind of what I'm saying. And I don't monetize, so it costs me money to do what I do. That's why my production is been in a very slow rate of an increase. So, but I'm trying to switch over to Zoom. I said all that just to tell you guys that I'm gonna be switching over to Zoom probably at some point. And then hopefully it'll be better for all of us. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.